Well, hello and happy Sunday. Welcome to the show. It's Rebecca Nichols here. This is my Royal Treats show, and I am going to be bringing you the good stuff, the good treats. That's what it's about, stepping you into that place of royalty so that you feel that you are a divine being and that, while abundance is yours, claim it. I've always said that to you, start claiming it, start believing it, start walking in it, start feeling it. It's a vibe. It's a vibe. And so through my shows, you have been learning all about how to manifest, how to connect to yourself, how to let go of the shame and the guilt, how to bloody believe in yourself, right? Because that's what it's about, how to grow, how to have that growth mindset. And something I have spoke about on the show before, but thought that I could definitely bring some more attention to it. Really based on a post that I put up earlier this week as well, which was just kind of talking a little bit about relationships and how relationships work, and you know what it means to be in a relationship, and why doesn't it work, and sometimes it does, and is it me? I don't know. You know, let's talk. Let's have a conversation about how we can make better relationships work. Because really and truly, we have tremendous ability to cultivate beautiful relationships when there is clear communication. I believe that completely. It's something that I've been working on within my own life, and I share a lot of my own life with you guys. I'm not here just telling you what to do, and far from it. I never want to tell anyone to do with their life. I do encourage people to connect with themselves. That's basically what I do as a being here on this planet. I am here to show you, hold a mirror maybe, and show you who you really are. Who are you? Because that's really important. And I think when you know who you are, you know yourself, you know what you're bringing to the world, you know what you have to offer, you know who you are on every level, and then you can really put that person out into the world, and then you can really manifest what you need to manifest and back into your reality. Because, as I said, a vibe is a vibration, it's frequency. And we really are light beings here on this planet. And so we do have to know this stuff, I think, to succeed in life. It's alignment. And it's exactly the thing that I teach. It's what I believe in. I stand by it. I teach it. I practice it. I've seen some amazing things happen in my life. And I've also seen some real crazy shit happen in my life as well, which was all very much part of the plan. And we forget that as well. So I think when we come out of a relationship, there's a lot of blame. There's a lot of finger pointing. There's a lot of resent. There's a lot of bitterness. There's a lot of guilt. There's a lot of shame. There's like a lot of regret in many ways. Or why couldn't I make it work? Or what's wrong with me? And he did this and I did that. And no. It becomes a bit of a mess, really, doesn't it, darlings? Let's face it, it's hard, but actually, let's not put that out there. It's not really hard. It just is what it is when it comes to stuff like that. In relationships, it is what it is. You really have to work on it, and there's no perfect relationship that exists in this world. So it's good to know, right, that you're not alone. And that even people who are married and seem to have it all together, still will go through testing times in their relationships, and that's growth. That's growth. I've never seen a couple that hasn't struggled or gone through something, and it's sometimes it's about not giving up. It really is about not giving up, even in the tough times. And it's obviously when people cheat, and I've cheated, and I've been cheated on, and I'm getting to a point in my life now. I'm thinking, well, I don't want to go into a relationship with that kind of attitude, and I want to commit, and I want to be honest, and I don't want to hurt anyone. And I've done that. I've done that in the past. I've been that person, and I've had it done to me. Karma's real, so no getting away from it. But yeah, it was something that I posted up. It was actually by a woman I follow on Instagram. which you might know of her, an amazing woman who does a lot of illustration work, but has really powerful messages in the work that she puts out. And it's Marian Drew, and she's just Mary Andrew, not Mary. Maria Andrew, yeah, Mary and Mary. I hope I'm getting it right. But she's a writer and illustrator. But she's she's amazing. She's really done well, and she illustrates and she just puts things together, and it really just touches your heart in many ways. But she put a post up about dating, and I thought, oh, yeah, that's really good. I shared it, and it was kind of like, how, when you're trying to date and trying to get to know someone, right? And the other side is a bit inconsistent and not getting back to you and not very good at communication. I've been there, and I've been in those situations as well. And obviously, dating is someone, if you are going to date someone, is a commitment. At least try. I mean, at least try for maybe 3 dates, 4 dates, and think, okay, this really isn't working for me, or I can't commit to this right now, or I don't like you. You're just not my type, whatever. But I think with guys, and I don't like to really have this whole men versus women thing as well. I kind of like, because I know women can be exactly the same. So I don't want to exclude women from this, and me. I don't want it to be like a man bashing podcast, because I'm just not that being. I believe it's who people come together in a dating situation, and then you have to have clear communication about what is this, where is it going, are we going to see each other regularly, are we going to go on a date, or how do you feel, what? Because some people just leave it open, and it's kind of like you're waiting, and do I call him? Does he call me? I mean, look, we all know how it goes. I mean, I haven't really dated for a while, so, I didn't have any dates really in 2017. I'm still sleeping with my ex, which was never really a good thing. But there was love still there, and it was really hard for me to detach from that. And then obviously there is a couple other people that I've been engaged with, and we all know I'm pregnant right now, so... And we don't know who the father is. So I could end up on one of them shows, Jeremy Kyle, Jerry Springer, Mary, with the DNA test thing. It's quite hilarious if it wasn't my life. But anyhow, blessing upon blessing, I am with child. Let's just keep it real. I am that person. I don't hide or shame, and any hide away from my story or shame in my story is what it is. But there have been a couple of instances where I have tried to date and try to make things work. And then the other side is just kind of very like, I'm sorry, I've been work's been a bit crazy lately. I've had this whole story. And then she goes on to say, oh, well, it's okay. Yes, it sounds like you shouldn't be dating right now, which makes me sad, but I get it. Oh, his response, oh no, I'm definitely going to be dating, because it sounds like you dating, it just means that I won't be you, because it seems that you won't put up with my bullshit, which is a deal breaker for me. But I will for sure keep using women as distractions and emotional saviours, and disregard any attachment they might develop. And so let's talk about that. Let's talk about attachment and what that means to be attached to someone, and in relations, in in this world, and how we do get attached emotionally, or sometimes we don't get emotionally attached at all, and that's not men or women. I like to say more men, right? Can I say that? Oh, I don't know. Can I say that? No, but for real. So I think women do get more emotionally attached, and I just think that's just how we're designed and how we're made and how we're more in tune with our emotions. And I do find that there is a lack in emotional intelligence generally with men, and there could be these barriers that men are putting up, because for men to show emotion is a sign of maybe vulnerability, maybe a bit of a sign of weakness. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong, and you could agree, and you could be like, yep, totally get it. There's no shame in being a man that's in tune with your feminine side. In fact, it's very empowering and it's very needed. It's needed for the future, for our future, for our children, for the planet, for the whole planet. It's needed for us to connect deeper and be more open and honest about things. And I hope I'm really bringing that to the table in terms of what I share with you guys as well, about all aspects of life, because I've experienced a lot. I know what works and I know what doesn't work. And then here's the thing that doesn't really work is not clear communication from day one. Really finding out where you stand and who you are and what you're looking for in a relationship, and having that dialogue. Like you, I'm looking for something. I'm looking to commit. I'm willing to try. And hopefully you'll meet me in the middle, at least. No, I mean, that's all you can ask of anybody. And I think that can go for any relationships, but let's just stick to sort of sexual, sort of intimate relationships, because that's kind of where we are now. But I will talk a little bit more about relationships that we have with our children, relationships that we have with our parents, as well as relationships we have with friends and colleagues. So mistakes in this part of my world, so in this part of my life, I should say, in relationships wise, I've made a lot of mistakes. And so I know what works and what doesn't work based on that. I guess it's all experience, isn't it? And if I'm going into a relationship, not at the moment, obviously, I haven't got time for that. But if I do go into a relationship, then I do think that I will be that person from day one going, look, you're not going to waste my time here, love. I'm not interested. We're going to commit. We're going to try this. We're going to work. We're going to see how it goes. You're going to commit. You're going to say you're going to show up when you're supposed to show up, or turn up, or you're going to call me when you say you're going to call me. And this is throat chakra stuff, guys, as well. So let's just tie it into how it works in terms of chakras, because I think I always try and connect that. And communication is massive in terms of the throat chakra. People don't get what they want in life because they really aren't open and they don't have perfect expression, although perfect expression doesn't really exist, but full self-expression, like, this is who I am as a being, this is what I want, these are my desires, these are my intentions, this is what I fucking want, alright? And if you can't give it to me, cool, it's fine. I'm not going to settle. I'm not going to be like, beg and plead and be like, well, maybe I can change him, or maybe he could be this person for me, or whatever. It's just a waste of time. There's like 7 billion people on this planet. Like, move the fuck on. Anyway, I could be wrong, right? But, and, we don't want to ignore those signs that are early on where there is lack of commitment and there is lack of communication and there is inconsistency, because it's for, if you're getting that early on, it's normally a warning sign just to jog on, like he's not interested. And then vice versa, because if she's messing around and she's not getting back to you and she's not texting you back, or she's not picking up the phone, or you think she's shagging your friend, look, just leave her alone, for God's sake. Just drop it out. I think life is more simple when we just be real and honest about what we want in life, and look, this could go for you could apply this even if you're in a relationship already and it's just not working because of the communication. You can sit down and have a conversation going, look, this really isn't moving forward. Like, one thing that I noticed is that it wasn't moving forward, and a big reason was because he was seeing someone else the whole time that I was with him, and that, obviously that's not going to work. How can you can't commit to two people, and so energy is energy, and so really and truly, you're going to have to make some serious choices. It's like a lot of people will say, well, my wife or my girlfriend isn't who I want her to be and we can't make it work, but meantime they're out doing whatever they're doing. How are they supposed to make it work at home if they're out there doing what they're doing? Because your energy can't be in two places with different people and spread around like that. Again, commitment, willingness, sit down, have a plan, have a vision for the future that you're creating with each other, because you are co-creating a future with each other when you're in a relationship, and you've got to be on the same page. You've got to have that vision, you've got to have that belief, and you've got to have that goal, because there will be struggles and there will be times that it'll be difficult and you might want to give up, and like us all, but you know what you want from this life, and you want a partner who's going to stand by you side by side and believe in you and talk to you and empower you and support you on every level, not just physically, all levels, mentally, physically and spiritually. And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about alignment. We're talking about holistically, your whole being. It needs to be in alignment with each other, okay? One or another. And so people do stay in the relationships for the wrong reasons, and we all know that. And I could go into it, but we all know why. Deep down level. I think it comes down to self-worth, personally. We stay somewhere safe and in a place of comfort because we don't think we're worthy of anything else, and because we don't think it or feel it. It's a vibe, it's a frequency. We're putting that out there into the world, and then we're manifesting back exactly how we think and feel about ourselves. Remember that. So that's just a little bit to talk about the relationships that we have with intimate and sexual relationships. Let's talk about a little bit about the relationships we have with our children. The relationships we have with our children are the most beautiful, precious relationships that we have in our lives. I mean, the relationships we have with ourselves is really important too, and I will come to that, because that's just really, look, you've got to love yourself, right? You've got to know yourself, you've got to love yourself, you've got to accept yourself. Now, my son is always teaching me amazing things. Like, he's showing me things every single day about life, and he's teaching me, I learned this, I did that. He's teaching me patience. He sometimes he holds a space for me. And what I mean by that is that, when I'm not feeling so like super mum, which is not all the time, you just can't feel like that. When I've got my shit together, or I'm in a good place, or if I'm just having a moment, I'm tired and I'm just, and I express that to him, he'll hold space for me. And he'll say, "You'll be alright, mum. We're going to be okay. It's just having a bad moment. I'm going to get through this." He's the most precious thing ever, and he's sensitive. He's sensitive. He's a sensitive soul. He's really in touch with himself as well. He's knows himself, which is a beautiful thing. And he's emotionally intelligent from a young age. I've encouraged him to be in tune with his emotions, and he has therapy. He has therapy at school because he has had anger issues, and he has had this opposing sex thing. Not opposing, but he hasn't grown up with a dad. And we've tried to balance that masculine, feminine in a good way, in a positive way as well. And I've tried to do everything I can within my power to make him feel safe and supported and loved. And I think this is important for the young boys, because you're not just raising boys. You are raising boys, but you're raising someone's father. You're raising someone's husband. And that's important. That's really important, and that's what we forget sometimes. Obviously, I'm having a girl now, so it's going to be a bit of a different dynamic. But it'll be interesting, because we're all different, and we're all different. We all need to be loved differently, and that's the point as well that I'd like to make, and something I shared on the Instagram today on my story about love. I had a beautiful day with my mum yesterday, I must admit. She came over for my baby shower, and it's always been a bit difficult there in the past, and that is the past. And that's good. I can say that without making it a story of today and a story of struggle, because it's important that we know that what's happened has happened. Nothing we can do about it. We hold so much power now, and we can create a better future for ourselves. And I'm committed to making a better future with Mum, and you know, and us coming together and just making it work, you know. And sometimes you've just got to look at them through the eyes of love, without judgment, without resent, without shame, guilt, without anger, you know, without hostility. You know, I just looked at her yesterday and I saw a child in many ways. I saw the child that she needed, that I saw a child that needed nurturing. And I'd never really looked at her like that before. And, you know, it's because of lots of things that Mum's gone through in her life. And she's in a very stressful situation right now. And sometimes when, you know, you've gone through so much trauma and heartache and disappointment, and you're living with regrets, and you're wishing, you know, your life could be better, and you're self-loathing, and so much there. You know, you project that out, and you can get angry and bitter. You know, you've got to remember, those who spew out hate and hurt and anger and all these things, they're only doing so because they're in a place where, you know, they've got to take it out on someone. They've got to get it out, and they're angry, and they're maybe bitter, and they're frustrated. And we all have been in those places. I'm sure we can all relate to that. And so sometimes compassion is needed. How do we make this world a better place? You know, we express love, we give love, we choose love. It's easier said than done, because people do trigger you, and especially your parents trigger you the most, and even your kids, they could bloody trigger you. But, you know, I've learned to adapt since being pregnant in the beginning of the year. Obviously, I got my diagnosis. I was like, you know, I need to change. I need to stop looking at life like this. I need to stop looking at my mum feeling angry and hurt. I've got to, and it has been a struggle, and I've shared it with you guys here, and I've shared it over on the feed. I've shared it as much as I can share it, because I know there's people out there going through what I've gone through with my mum. And how do we really make an impact on the world? We've got to forgive our parents for not loving us in the way that we think we should have been loved. We've got to forgive them for the mistakes they made. God knows they were fucking trying. God knows it was hard for my mum to raise me on her own and deal with all the other shit that she was dealing with in her mind, plus battling a mental health issue. It couldn't have been bloody easy. But, you know, here I am. I'm all right. I'm not doing too bad. You know, I made it. I survived, you know, and I don't think any of us should have to survive our childhood, but, you know, some of us are. Some of us had. And some of us, you know, won't go on to repeat those mistakes. Some of us will learn, and some of us will teach. And that's me. I mean, I teach because, and I coach because I get it. Like, on such a level, I get it. And I think you've got to have that empathy, and you've got to have that compassion, you've got to have that understanding in order to really help people into a place of mastery. Because, you know, mastery is just going over and over the same thing as many times as possible until you are in such a place of peace. And then you can go on and you can share your story, and you can empower other people. That's, for me, what I believe mastery is. You know, I'm a long way from where I want to be in terms of, like, my career, what I want to see, what I want to do, things I want to achieve. But that's nothing. That doesn't mean, I mean, that's just going to happen anyway. It doesn't matter. But where I am right now, in terms of how I feel about the relationship and where we've come from, what's been really swept under the carpet and said, look, we're not picking up that rug anymore. We're just going to leave all that crap and that dirt. We're not just sweep it away. We're not going to go there. You know, keep opening those old wounds over and over again. So this is, you know, it's Father's Day today. And, you know, my dad's not really been around in my life. You know, but I've chosen today actually just to thank him in many ways as well, because I believed that everything happens for a reason, although we might not understand it.
I'm here because I'm here on this planet, and I chose him. I believe I chose him, and I chose her. I mean, I chose it all. I think it gives me more peace to know that I chose it all. It's more comforting to know I chose it all, and that everything happens for a reason. Yeah. Okay. So don't look back with any regret on your life, or don't carry that resentment towards any human being. It's like drinking acid, expecting the other person to die. It really is. And it's not until I experienced it for myself, and then I've overcome it, and I'm doing the healing work on our relationship, that I realised that I was only really destroying myself in the process of carrying all that stuff around inside of me. So yeah, should we just breathe? I feel like we need to breathe. Should we just breathe? Okay, cool. Let's just do that. Let's just breathe. I'm a bit blocked, I think. This pregnancy's making me a bit blocked. But breathe in and as many times as necessary. And I want you to just, the affirmation is just like, nothing matters. It doesn't matter. What's gone is gone. What's gone is gone. And there is no going back and changing what has been. Right here, right now, I have peace. And I have no suffering in the now. There is no suffering in the now. We must know that. There's no suffering. You're free from it all. You're going to let it go now. Let it go that they're wrong and you're right. Yeah, because that's what we want to do. We always want to make people wrong. And you always want to be right. It's not always possible. Ah, yes. Right now, in this space, it's perfect. This is it. And it's perfect. And I hope that brings you some peace in the now. And I find when we ever lose ourselves in our thoughts, or we're going back, or we're worrying about something that doesn't really even exist in a future space or whatever, you can bring yourself into a place and just ground yourself. It's a very powerful technique, and you can always hold your hand on your heart as well. Hold your hand on your heart and say, I'm here. I'm safe. All is well. That's what Louise Hay would say, right? Awesome. So just to round up and finish off, really, because relationships with friends and relationships with colleagues and people that we've been friends with or haven't been friends with, or lost friendships, or friendships have changed, and how do we grow and adapt and move through those situations? And that's just been a very difficult time for me in terms of a lot of my friendships, and where I've given and I feel neglected or abandoned or rejected and disheartened, because I believe I'm quite a good friend and I believe I've given a lot, and I also feel like I haven't received the same level back. I mean, again, releasing the resent is really, really important in those places where you feel like, if we get into that martyr place, I've done so much for you and you haven't even done that for me, and sometimes people won't be there for you the way you're there for them. It's fine. Give because you're a giver and you love to give, and sometimes we need to get out of the place of giving to receive. We need to do that first. Give because you're a cheerful giver. Give because you give from your heart. Give because you're kind. Give because you can. Give because another human being is an extension of who you are. So that brings comfort, I suppose. I mean, you should never harden your heart because people will take advantage, but I would say have discernment. And that's where I've lacked in so many areas in my life, because the shadow side of the Libra, I mean, we're all about justice, equality, but trying to keep that balance. I mean, our hearts are just giving, gold even. I would say that because I know a lot of Librans, and we're there. We're always there for people. We care so much. But at the same time, people can see that and take that and take advantage out of that as well. So all I can say for that is really have clear boundaries in your relationships, and really if you feel appreciated, great, go there, and don't take your friends for granted, ever. I could tell you a story. Actually, I could tell you a story about me. I've done a lot for a lot of people over the past few years, especially like coming into a lot of money, and it did dishearten me a lot. But I chose that in so many ways. I chose to be that person at the time. I chose to give as much as I gave, and there was no regret when I did it, of course. But things change. People break promises. People don't have the level of integrity that I have, or I consider to have, and so shit happens. The biggest thing for me was forgiveness, and really working on those forgiving those who hurt me or betrayed me or stole from me or took piss or whatever it is, because I realised the damage it was doing to me, and I had to evaluate a few things. I had to evaluate a lot of my relationships. I had to learn how to trust again. I had to learn how to let people in, and let it all go. Not just say, none of it matters anyway. None of it matters. I mean, materialism and money and attachment to money is all connected to your root chakra. And the thing is, the more we chase it, the less we probably have of it. So, it kind of made me realise, where my attachment was, where I needed to let go of even attachments to people, attachments to money. I mean, when you're getting up into the crown chakra, when you're in that space of divine consciousness, there is no attachment. It's non-attached loving. That's the point. Because attachment leads to suffering, and I think I will do a podcast on attachment, because it's a bit of a long one. It's a bit in depth. There's loads of different things that we can do to stay as detached, but still have love, but not be as attached, because it's the expectations that we have, and the disappointments that come with it. We feel so let down, and clear example yesterday when I had my baby shower, a lot of people didn't turn up, a lot of people just didn't show, didn't communicate, and it does dishearten you a little bit, of course, but then I just chose to not make it mean anything. And I didn't make it mean anything that was wrong with me, or they don't like me, or they don't want to come and see me, because you can get in that space, and that's just all paranoia and weird and anxious and anxiety, and it's not worth it. It's not worth it. So evaluate your relationships. Definitely keep evaluating them, but have clear communication in your relationships as well. Don't make assumptions, because I think we assume a lot. We live in our heads. With overthinking, and that can lead to so many problems within our relationships, right? So let's have clear communication. Let's speak what's on our hearts. Let's speak what's on our minds. Let's express ourselves. Let's be honest. Let's have clear communication. Let's have integrity, honesty. Let's do the right thing, because we know what the right thing is, right? Because intrinsically we know, deep within, we know. We actually really know, and it is being in tune with that spirit, the spirit being, and not letting the ego get in control and run the show. That will guide you to where you need to be in your relationships, and actually then you will start to attract the right relationships into your life, the people that will value you, will appreciate you, will appreciate the time they spend with you, will appreciate the moments they make with you, and will not take you for granted, and will truly, honestly, value, respect, appreciate. All these things are really, really important, and we've got to have clear communication around what we're willing to accept within our relationships as well. So I hope it's been helpful. By no means a complete expert on relationships, but I'm just sharing with you my stories and what I've gone through and how I've got through a lot of the tough times in terms of relationships and on all levels, really, in all aspects of our relationships. And you do have to work on them. And it takes two people working on relationships to make a relationship work and move forward and to sustain that relationship or make that relationship grow and evolve as well. So, darlings, I'm off to bed because this pregnant woman has got to get to bed. It's like 9:30. I should definitely be in bed by now. I hope you enjoyed the show. Please, do leave me some feedback and let me know what you think. Either on Instagram or if you're listening to us on YouTube, or if you're listening to us on iTunes, you can write a review. Let me know how you're enjoying the show or anything that you'd like me to talk about. I'm happy to share with you. And yeah, look, just stay happy, stay blessed. All dis-ease comes from discomfort from within, I believe, and lack of abundance and lack of money and lack of joy and problems with our health, etc. Again, it all comes from a very much of a disconnect with ourselves. And so I always encourage you to know yourself and trust yourself on this journey of life. It will get you far. It will take you places, but you've got to open up your mind. And of course, the Reset, the Chakra Balancing Program, which is the 7-day 7 chakra program that I've created, is now available. You can find out for more information on the website and over on the Instagram feed. I've been sharing some wonderful things. Stay tuned, and of course, stay aligned and divine. And until I see you, well, I won't see you, speak to you again next week, hopefully. Although I'm getting very tired. But I'm going all the way to the end. I'm going to try and get out a podcast at least once a week and share some good stuff with you. Lots of love and light to you all. Take care.